Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matter to we the people. Former AG Eric Holder says Democrats need to understand that borders mean something. According to the Epoch Times, former Attorney General Eric Holder defended the Obama administration against criticism over an immigration policy that saw thousands of deportations while warning 2020 Democrats that the United States need borders. Quote, the emphasis there was on people who had criminal records, people who posed a danger, a public safety risk. Those are the people who were emphasized, deporting. Holder said during an interview with CNN David Axelrod, which was published on September 14th, and I'll leave a link in the descriptions for that. Quote, Democrats have to understand that we do have to have borders. Do mean something, he added. Axelrod then asked the former Attorney General, who served under then President Barack Obama, what he thinks about proposals by 2020 Democratic presidential candidates to decriminalize illegal border crossings and to make them into a civil offense. Quote, no, I don't think that's right. I mean, the law that is on the books has been there for about 100 years or so, Holder added. Quote, would it send the wrong message, the wrong signal to decriminalize, Axelrod asked. Quote, it might send the wrong signal, but it would certainly take a tool away from the just use, Holder said in response. And I can't believe this, but I'm actually agreeing with Eric Holder. Without borders, you don't have a country, and they want to leave it wide open for just anybody to come in. You can't name a developed country around the world where they just have open borders. They still have checks and balances and ports of entry and things like that. But they want to have the border wide open so anyone can just come into a country. It's utterly ridiculous. You wouldn't just let anyone into your house, but you just let them into your country. But the article continues on to say that this comes after many Democratic candidates expressed support for decriminalizing illegal border crossings. During the first Democratic presidential primary debate in late June, all but one candidate from the second night showed support for decriminalizing illegal immigration, an indication of Democratic Party's position on that issue. And it's a lose situation. They're gonna, if they go with open borders, the majority of Americans don't want open borders. Even legal, I'm talking about legal immigrants here, say they don't want open borders. But the Democrats that's running for president right now is pushing for open borders, and I have no idea why they would push for something like this when the majority of Americans want their borders protected. But the article goes on to say that similarly, Senator Elizabeth Warren unveiled a plan in July in a blog post on Medium to repeal a law that makes unauthorized entry into the United States illegal. But not all 2020 Democratic candidates support open borders. Rep. Tulsi Gabbard said in a recent interview that she doesn't support open borders and underscored the importance of securing them. And of course, the ones that that want to protect our borders, those are the ones that not even close to being front runners. I don't know what's going on. Why the surge to the left with the Democratic Party? It makes absolutely no sense when the majority of Americans are moderate people, and they got this rush to the left. And I don't know why they can't see that they're going to lose the election by doing this. But the article goes on to say that during an appearance with the Rubin Report on September 8th, host Dave Rubin asked Gabbard about her stance on the issue, and she said, quote, I don't support open borders. Without secure borders, we don't really have a country, Gabbard told Rubin. And while some of the other Democratic candidates will say, well, open borders, that's a conservative argument, and that's not really what's being advocated for. If you look at some of the practical implications of some of the things they are pushing for, it is essentially open borders. Gabbard went on to provide suggestions for immigration reform. Quote, one is we got to have secure borders. This is not Trump's wall from sea to signing sea. It's about seeing again what makes sense. I look at things from a practical, objective-oriented standpoint. I'm a soldier, so I look at what's our objective. Secure the borders. In some places, it may make the most sense to have a wall or some kind of physical barrier in place. In other places, it won't make sense. So you use technology, you use all the other tools that you have to ultimately to accomplish that objective of security and borders, she said. President Donald Trump has made stopping illegal immigration a priority during his 2 years in office. In the past year, federal immigration officials have reported record highs in the apprehension of illegal immigrants at the border to Congress this year, saying that the numbers have overwhelmed Border Patrol facilities and resources. The president has repeatedly criticized Democrats for pushing what he perceives as an open border agenda. Quote, despite the Democrats wanting very unsafe open borders and refusing to change the loopholes in asylum, tremendous progress is being made at the southern border, Trump wrote. We all waited because we assumed the Dems would ultimately be forced to change the horrible immigration laws. They didn't. Apprehensions at the southern border fell by 56% within 3 months since record high numbers in May, after the United States and Mexico reached a deal to expand the implementation the Migrant Protection Protocols, MPP, commonly known as Remain in Mexico policy, and increase security at the southern border. The number also includes people who were deemed inadmissible. But let me know what you think. Do you think we should have open borders where anyone could just walk into our country? Or do you think we should secure the borders and be selective of people entering our country? Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time.
We live in a real nightmare. We live in a real nightmare.